Oh, hello, Thomas Waddle here. And you're thinking, why is the music not playing? Well, I want to give you a bit of background here. This week's episode, we are at the Player of the Year Awards for the Beith Amies, Beith AFC. Bumped into the lovely Colin Hunter, invited me along, and we became on-field reporters, and really enjoyed the conversation we had. We've got two shorter kind of interviews for us, one with Neil Greenwood, manager, and then also Adam Graham, who won the top scorer of the year and overall player of the year. So two great interviews on site, and maybe one of them there's a little bit of rain that you might hear, so listen out for that wee bit of ASMR before we start. But just wanted to give you a little heads up. It's a little bit different this week, but difference not always a bad thing. Difference pretty cool, and it's what it's all about. So without further ado, let's hear the music. I'm here with Neil Greenwood. How you doing? Manager of Beith Amateurs. First of all, thanks for inviting me to your night. It's been so far really fun, interesting, and cracking bunch of guys you've got there.
Yeah, thanks for coming. That's it. Great group of boys.
Is there kind of anything you're looking back over the year? Obviously, your first year in management. Is there looking back? Is there things you wish you could go back and tell yourself?
Yeah. 100%, yeah. So I had been an assistant manager for 6 years, but I didn't realise how much of the responsibility you didn't have. You know, you were basically there just assisting the manager and being a kind of sounding block and basically being a mate. That's kind of what it was. And then I thought, right, I'll give this a go because it suited me this year in terms of my family commitments. I got a kind of surprise as to how much was involved in actually being a manager.
Was the transition difficult, do you find?
Yeah. I mean, I came in with like a lot of ideas and a lot of beliefs and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's about, can you get the guys to buy in and can you get guys to listen to you? And I don't think they know me enough. Like I've had a decent career, but I don't think a lot of the boys knew me enough to know, can we really trust this guy? Can we buy into what he's saying? Did they really? Yeah, that was it. And I kind of sort of saw that probably the first part of the season. I was like, yeah, I don't think, they maybe bought in as much as I'd kind of hoped or expected. So.
You were saying the last 8 games, was it seven wins and 1 loss,
yeah,
I believe?
Yeah, so that was the kind of form I expected us to start. So basically we had a really good pre-season where we never lost a game, and then we started the league season and we lost the first game, and then I think everybody just kind of, it was almost like a wee bit like we kind of tuned out. Mm-hmm. So and then I just felt like maybe that was all. And I always felt that when I played, I always felt like a good pre-season could sometimes be a bad thing, mm-hmm. and sometimes a bad pre-season was something that made you think, right, realise we're going to have to really up our game here. So I think the good pre-season didn't help us. We maybe weren't tested enough, and then, yeah.
Does that breed complacency within the team? Like maybe,
I think so,
it's quite easy, yeah.
And I think the thing with amateur football, as I say, I'd been an assistant manager in junior football where you're paying players, so there's a bit more of a commitment because they're contracted and they're basically picking up a wage. So when you come to amateur football, you realise that boys maybe don't really, it would be easy for them just to turn around and say, "No, I'm not interested."
It's almost like a mentality thing you're looking for over.
Yeah. And I think I maybe expected everybody to have the same mentality as me. Aye. And realised that that wasn't going to be the case, and I don't mean that as a slight on anyone. Everybody's different, but my expectations were quickly, shown up for what the actual reality.
Of course, you were saying when you were kind of doing the number 2, like the kind of man management must have changed, obviously, because you're then the kind of you're the focal point really, the pre kind of build up to the games. Really, you're laying it out there.
Yeah, it's your voice that really matters, but at the same time, before, you maybe, it was maybe just a kind of bit of an easy ride, and the guy that I worked as his assistant for, he never put me under any pressure to he was, I think being a manager, there's an element of control where you like you're a kind of control freak, and you like being in charge, and you like being in control, and guys are just there as sounding blocks, whereas so there was no pressure on you, whereas here it was like, you are responsible, and although it's amateur football and you don't think it's that big, it kind of is at the end of the day. If you don't,
it's obviously you as a player yourself, goalkeeper. How do you find? Does that make it difficult? You've been here before. Obviously, the awards, you won the Players' Player of the Award 10 years ago. Do you find that adds an extra difficulty to yourself, or can you use that as a motivation to guys? Look, I know what you're going through. Can you kick on for that?
Yeah, I think that there is an element to that, but I also think that people think that goalies don't know an awful lot about football, whereas I'm fascinated by football, always have been. People used to say I was a better outfielder than I was goalie, but I just always kind of stayed in goals and stuff. So I think I know a lot about the game, and I don't think maybe people realise that you maybe do as much, because they think, he was just a goalie, what does he know?
Well, I know people that enjoy playing in goals, but the kind of the mindset I always think you find with goalkeepers is they start as an outfield player up the top and they just gradually fall back into that position, and it's not always that case. There's people that are truly passionate about that position, and when you've got somebody that is passionate, they change the game. Look at the kind of modern way of football with your Edersons and obviously Neuer's back in the day, he's still playing, but it's like those are like that's where you play from in that, so it's a very, very important position, and I don't think it's given the respect really.
I think now it's become more and more an important position, but I think there's still a lot of coaches that don't. I keep hearing about coaches that hate goalies and stuff like that, so they don't. I still don't think they get maybe the respect they're due, but everybody's got their own opinion, but I mean, as I say, I just had kind of just a love for the game, and I've studied the game, and I think I know what I'm talking about, but maybe people don't necessarily.
No, I feel like obviously in the short time that we met prior to kind of doing this quickly in the awards, and I feel like it does almost like it kind of radiates for you. The guys, before we started this, it was a 15-minute conversation with one of the players coming out with you, and you can tell that the guys are there. You kind of radiate that kind of, I don't know. I can tell that the guys are passionate for you and that. So looking forward, obviously, how long, I don't really know the length of time, how long before your pre-season for the starts?
So I reckon we're probably 3-4 weeks away. Right. I mean, ideally I would like to start maybe a week earlier, which would be the third week in June. But I think last year we were kind of first week in July, but the problem is last year I went away on holiday the kind of second week in July, so and I'm the same again this year, but again that's like family, you've got to kind of prioritise what family comes. Again,
that comes with it's the difficulties you see, obviously, like you're saying. Juniors is that wee bit different, but amateurs, it's mentality, and then having to build your kind of life almost around that and do it. So it's a bit of a battle to manage that side of it. So you've got to make sacrifices in terms of I'll miss a bit of the pre-season, but the difference with me is that when I'm not on holiday, I'm there. I'm all in. And all I hope is that all the players are the same. But again, work and family and everything comes into the equation, and you understand that. You understand that boys have got lives away from football, and that you need to respect that. But as I say, all I care about is if you, like I said to Kyle, if you turn up and give me everything on that Saturday, I don't really care as much. I'd love to have every day at training, 2 nights a week, working hard. That's my goal. But as I say, the whole that and then turning up on the Saturday and just giving everything, that's kind of all that matters. And as I say, we did that probably the last 8 games, but it was probably just too little, too late. Do you know what I mean? We had before that. Well, hopefully that momentum does get carried in. To the next season, you can kick on.
Yeah. I really hope so, because as I said in my speech, in terms of the group of players, it's a great group of players. Loads of ability, loads of, they've kind of got everything. And I think they just need somebody to point them in the right direction, and maybe I didn't point them in the direction enough. I think they were maybe looking for more from me and stuff, and I get that, and I put my hands up to that during the last 8 games. I said, look, I understand, I know I've made loads of mistakes, and but that's
it's
life.
like you're almost learning in the job, really,
exactly,
and you're moving into that. Yeah. Looking forward into the next season, I don't know if you want to discuss the aspirations, but is the aspirations to finish top 6, actually get promoted? Like, do you have a rough idea where you want to be?
Well, we're basically mid-table this season, and having been promoted last season, I think realistically you would look at that and think, well, that's actually a good season. But no, I think, as I said, we've got a squad there that could have been second in the league. But even that, I would have still been disappointed with second in the league, because to me, playing is about winning trophies, and if you don't win trophies, then that's the real memories, is a trophy. And
you said that in the speech, and I think that really resonates with people. That's so
massive. If you don't do that, then it's great getting promoted, but unless you actually win a trophy, that's what shows you you've really had a good season.
Aye, sorry, I'll sort of that out. No, that's fine.
In terms of aspirations next season, it's without. I think last year I felt like maybe I put pressure on them. Next season I just want them to go and do what they did in the last 8 games and see where it takes us. And I know that if they show that same fight, determination, effort, work rate, teamwork, we will be successful.
Well, it's like you can use that because you're like, look, this is where we were and this is what we've done. We know you've got it in you, and it's just getting it out there, and hopefully, like you're saying, carrying that momentum into the next season, you can kick on and just, I don't like cruise isn't the right word, but you know what I mean. Like you can.
Yeah, well, no, it's in this league, and at this level, it's never going to be a cruise.
No.
There's some teams that want to, all they want to do is fight, and you just need to understand that, you need to do bits of that, and you need to do the work, and then your ability, like there's loads of ability in there. Your ability takes over, but you need to do all the shitty stuff and the crappy stuff to get to that point. And I think that was it. Took us that long in the season. It took us too long in the season to realise that to get to where we want to go, it doesn't matter how many games we were winning or how many games we were on top. We needed to do all the dirty work to get to get over the line, and as I say, it took too long for us to understand.
I think it's like, obviously, kind of going listening to obviously what you've all been saying and the words you've spoke just there. It's about being able to adapt and go, like as you're saying, different teams come out in different ways.
Exactly,
it's just it's going to be an exciting time. You've got seems like a cracking bunch of guys, and I really wish you nothing but the best, and I hope it's a good couple of weeks off to get back to the hard graft.
I appreciate that.
No, listen, thanks very much again, Neil, and I'm sure we'll be talking again soon.
Brilliant, thank you.
That leads us into the next interview, which is with Adam Graham, top scorer of the year, and as you'll find out, player of the year as well. Nice, short, sweet, and this is maybe where the ASMR that we were talking about begins, so please enjoy. We're joined by Adam Graham, 2-time player of the year winner, 1-time top goal scorer of the year. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you.
Looking back over the years, is there, I'd asked Neil the same question, is there anything now that you could go back and tell yourself then? Is there?
No, not really. I just, every time, to be fair, I go out in the football pitch, I just tell myself we're going to win the game, I'm going to be the best player there, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I just take it as it comes, to be fair, doesn't it? There's nothing really in particular.
Is it obviously being kind of top goal scorer, 16 goals I believe is what they said. Is looking back, was there a particular one you were like, that's the best of the year, or do you have one, or are they all just good?
No, there's no one in particular. I scored 2 hat-tricks during the season, and I've been reminded tonight that one of the penalties I missed would have got us promotion, so that's a bit of a gutter, to be fair. But no, there's no one that sticks to mind, to be fair, but just scoring a goal, doesn't matter if you tap it in or score for wherever, it's the same result, isn't it?
It's a digit extra, isn't it? That's
Exactly.
it. So you mentioned you missed a penalty.
Aye.
How do you deal with, first of all, the pressure of taking a penalty, and then obviously you've missed that? Are you somebody that carries with you, like you carry that into the next game, or can you drop that and just, you're like, I'm over it, let's just move on to the next one?
It bugs me, I must admit, it does bug me for a full week until the next game. It's constantly in my mind, I'm constantly doing that, should have done this, should have done that, but it's just something you've got to live with. It happens, you score some, you miss some, so...
That's it. Was it Wayne Gretzky, you miss every shot you don't take,
Exactly,
so that's it, mate,
aye.
there you go. Looking forward to the next season, obviously, we've kind of, your pre-season will be in about kind of 3-4 weeks.
Aye.
How do you keep yourself kind of, do you keep yourself motivated during that, like...
Aye, well, I try and... It's easy to sit and do nothing, to be fair, coming in for work doing that, but no, I try and do as much as I can, go out a couple of runs, play five-a-sides with my mates and stuff like that, go to the gym and stuff like that, so I try and keep myself ticking over, but like I said, it's easy to just come in the house and go, I've not got fit with training, I'll do nothing.
And going into the next season, do you have any kind of personal goals that you're looking for? Like, I mean, goals probably isn't the best word to use there, but do you have targets that you set for yourself, or do you just, each game as it comes, we'll see?
Aye, to be honest, no any really personal targets, more as a collective. I'd love to go on and win the league. I think with the boys that we've got, I think we could do with a couple of good strong additions. I think we could really push and do really well next season. Fingers crossed.
No, listen, brilliant. I says to Neil earlier as well, I just wish you nothing but the best, but listen, going forward, I hope it works out, mate, and I'll be there. I'll be there.
No,
looking forward to it, man.
No, thank you.
No, listen, thanks very much for your time,
no
Adam.
worries, mate.
Cheers, bud. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Cheers.
mate. Cheers. So once again, I'd just like to take some time to thank everybody who made me feel welcome during my time being an on-field reporter, but just a couple of other shout outs. Just we never get time to sit down and speak with some of the other winners, so I just wanted to go through them in their entirety. So you had top scorer of the year, like we said, Adam Graham. The players player was Jamie Hartness. The Danny Gilbert Clubman Award was Craig Fife and Kyle Walker, and player of the year was Adam Graham. Hopefully, if the guys are still there, we'll have time to sit down and go over interviews in the kind of coming weeks with the pre-season, and hopefully going forward, carrying into the new season, we'll be able to get things in place. So really enjoyed my time. Again, just thanks to everybody there, Neil, Colin, Adam, and everybody else who made me feel really welcome. Really great night at the Player of the Year Awards, and if anybody was looking for a party, that was the place to be that night, out with the Champions League being on. I think the biggest event in the sporting calendar was the Beith AFC Player of the Year Awards. So yourselves, you can get us at our normal kind of checkout points. You've got your Facebook and Instagram pages are updated very regularly. All the details to get to where to listen, which is all major streaming platforms: Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, and the old YouTube. So as I say, we're all on there. Please reach out if you want to get in touch with us. You can get DMs, Facebook, Instagram, and you've also got the email contact at thewhiskeysourhour.com. Listen, we've got some exciting weeks coming up. The calendar is getting chocker. So everybody that's been there, please, continue to support, and let's, try and get the numbers up. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow, like. There's all those different ones. Just do it. Just go and do it. I've been Thomas Waddle. This has been the Whisky Sour Hour. Cheers.